Welcome, and thank you for staying with us. And welcome to this segment. So, giving. It's the Yuletide season, and it's just 4 days to Christmas. But aside from the change in the atmosphere, and indeed there's always that change in the atmosphere, this period is characterized with exchange of gifts, which a number of people look forward to from their loved ones. But I'm one of those people that doesn't believe you have to wait for a particular time to give. You know, you should live a life of
Just keep
giving.
giving.
Keep giving, and the more you give, the more you receive.
Yes,
As they say,
indeed.
if
Yeah.
your hand is like, if you're holding on like this,
Ah.
you will not have room to receive.
Okay.
So if your hand is like this, someone takes out, somebody else will drop. I know,
Exactly.
Anyway, but it's not us that are going to talk about this. So to help us understand what it is, this act of giving, and then gifts exchange. Actually, we're doing a series on the act of giving. Last week we talked about blood donation, right? Today we're talking about exchange of gifts. And so we have here in the studio Peace Aki, who's a business coach and gift curator. In other words, she manages the gifts. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so maybe we'll all live here with gifts today.
Who knows?
Who knows? Also in the studio is Noro Edokbolo, who's a management consultant. Thank you for joining us, Noro. We're hoping that before we finish, Ifejola Adeyemi would join us to talk about also gift exchange and the act of giving. So let me start with the gift curator piece. What's it about this act of giving? What's it about giving that makes any difference?
Okay, so I would always say that the Bible even says that the gift of a man will make room for him. You know, people have said it is, yeah, people have said different things about that, yeah, but there's something that gifts does. It opens doors, and it makes an indelible impression about you to the recipients. Now, yeah, people will. It's a big deal in the festive period for you also to see people giving gifts. Like you earlier mentioned, gift giving should be something that's done every other day. Yeah, but yeah, in the world, or especially, okay, let me bring it back home to Nigeria. People just wait for the festive season, Christmas, to exchange gifts. You know, they want to. That's the time they want to show their loved ones. Then some people also do it during birthdays, and yeah. So, but I would always say to people that if you want to have a good feel, if you want people to feel good about you, if you want to be top on the minds of people, you need to be ready to give valuable gifts. Not just any kind of gifts, but valuable gifts.
Now, please, we move to Norua, what does a gift curator do?
Okay. So yes, that's one question I hear every time. Yeah, so we are the ones that you speak to when you want to get the right gifts for the person that you want to give a gift. Now, let me give a very clear example. Everyone is giving ampers this season, but a lot of people would give the wrong ampers to the wrong kinds of people. But when you speak to a gift curator, I go into details. I start asking you questions like, who is the person? What age is the person? Such that the gift you are giving that person makes a real statement and the person appreciates it. Now, over the years, I've met people that have curated gifts items and they give it to the recipient. The recipient hands it over to his gatekeeper because he has no need for it. But if you're speaking to me or you're speaking to any of my colleagues in business, then you know that you are given the right gift. And most times, these people would keep those gifts as souvenirs. So we talk to you, when you talk to us, we make sure that you get value for your money, such that you give the right kinds of gifts to the right kinds of people. So that's what my job is.
Okay. Noro?
Okay, to give me advice.
She said something about if you want people to feel good about you. Is it only about people feeling good about you, or does that also include you feeling good about yourself? Does giving make you feel good about yourself?
Yeah, thank you very much. Even before I, come there, for me, my story with gifts and giving derives from, first of all, my faith as a Christian and my upbringing. And so for me, that dimension of giving that she spoke about, yes. But beyond that, as somebody who himself has been the recipient of the gift of life, I am here today because people have gifted me along the way. And so for me, to give back, it's just like a natural consequence of where I'm coming from. Yes, and so yes, when you then look at the whole story of gifts and giving and what have you, it does, as she has said, it opens the door for you. But you, the giver, for me, I see when I give a gift and the gift truly is a blessing to the other person, I myself I have a sense of fulfillment that I've made a difference. All right, and so that's the way I look at it.
Remember the day that Oprah gave out those cars? She was more excited than those receiving the
it,
gifts.
yeah. True.
She was screaming and jumping more than those she was giving the cars to.
True. Okay.
So you're going to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to say that yes, I came from the point of a gift curator. Yes, there's the biblical angle to it, in fairness. Yes, so really, even while I am curating these gifts, I feel good. And because it is something that I'm passionate about, I make sure that the person that is given the gifts, the person that has contacted me, gets real value. So aside the person that is giving the gifts being top of mind for the person, I also make sure that the person feels good giving that gift. Yes, so.
Okay, so statistics. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. What would make you give a gift to someone?
Okay, so first things first. Okay, so now you're coming from the point of me as an individual. Okay, so there are many reasons that I give gifts. Now, for me, there is hardly any time I'm in my car that there is not a gift. I give gifts for the littlest reasons. Now, I can see someone has just done something very magnificent or fantastic, and did not. Okay, I'll give you an instance. So I went to a hotel some time ago for Wimbies, and the parking lot was jam-packed. So this young man, apparently he drove someone. He drives out his car, sees I've been stranded, going round circles, drives out his car and says, "Madam, park in my space. I will park behind you." I felt that I needed to make him know that this act he has done is an act of giving. And I needed to seal it up for him. I went into my car and I gave him a gift. Now, do you know that guy, I felt very good. And I said to him, I said, keep being good. It pays to be good. Now, trust me, that guy will look for an opportunity to do good to someone else. So now, let's come back to your question. Why would I give gifts? I just feel like he has said that it's the lifestyle that God has given to us. He wants us to be a gift to the world. First things first, he gave us a good example of giving a son to us. So what does it tell us? It tells us that we should make an impact. Now, I will not just give to people because I want to stay top of mind on them. No, that's not what I would do. I will give to people because, one, they need it. Two, I just want people to be happy. It gives me joy when I give gifts and people are happy. And because I'm a gift curator, I try to give spot-on gifts. Yes, so
As in gifts that would
mean something. Yes, exactly. So
Per person per time.
Exactly. Do you understand? So yes. So why I will give gifts is because it is a lifestyle. It makes me happy. I derive joy from it. So I just do it.
Okay, so there is this thing about giving, or research says giving does something to you. It helps to improve your health. And I'm just wondering, you're weighing on that as well, that giving helps to improve your health. You, the giver, not the givee. No, you, the giver and the givee. The giver and the receiver, rather. Okay, so for good health, for social connection and cooperation and happiness. But how deep are these, permit me to use the word emotions, how deep are these emotions that happen in the course
without being a psychologist, and I don't claim to be one, I'm just going to speak from my own experience and what I've heard and read and, seen of other people. So first of all, like I said earlier on, when you give and you see what happens to the person that you give, and when we talk about giving, it's a broad spectrum, from the car park situation, to the person you gift education, for example.
Yep.
You know what I mean? To the person you gift, a house, to the person you gift a car, etc., etc., etc.
Or an organ.
Or an organ, so there's a broad spectrum.
Yeah.
But I think the question is, what's motivating me? That will inform what happens after I give. All right. So, for example, you made an allusion earlier on. If I was giving you this gift because I wanted something in return, if I don't get what I wanted, then I'm not going to feel happy. I'm not going to feel content. And, in fact, it's the opposite that happens to me.
True.
You know what I mean? So, because I gave you the gift with the mind that the gift will open the door.
Expectation.
And if the door, therefore, doesn't get open, it becomes a challenge. All right. So, why am I giving? What's the motivation? What am I hoping to get out of it? Okay. So that will inform what happens to me, the giver, and as well as I don't know about the receiver, but for me, the giver, if I'm giving you this gift because I feel for example, in my business, we try to say to ourselves, we don't want to get into the bribery, etc. So we look forward to this time of the year because it's a time to say thank you to people that we've done business with without any strings.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the kind of this. So for somebody like me, it's the one time when I can give a gift to my business partners without wondering, is this
appropriate?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's for me is a good. So I look forward to December because then I can say, oh, thank you very much. You've done business with us for the year. We're so grateful to you, and there are no strings attached.
Okay, so let me tell this story. There's a young man I met who decided that he had at the time in his life he could not afford transport money. So he was in a bus and someone was sitting beside him who actually had money stuck in the book. And so he turned to the lady and said, please, can I get 10 naira? He had gone a long stretch of walking and what he had could not take him to a point. So he entered the bus and please, can I get 10 naira at that time to take him somewhere? The lady looked at him and said, I don't have. And she came off the bus. So he decided that if he ever was in a position to help someone, if anybody, male or female, can summon up courage to say, I want,
You would give.
if it is the last he has, he will give. So see what happened to him. So he was in this restaurant where he went to eat, and a young man walks up to him holding 100 naira and says, please, can I get 100 naira? I want to buy bread downstairs. So he told the young man, I don't have cash. I'm sorry, I can't help you. So the young man walks away, goes to sit down at the table, looking somewhat miserable. This is the story he was telling me. So he now gets up. He didn't want to buy bread, but he got up, went to the young man, said, where's that your 100 naira? Collected it, went downstairs, bought a loaf of bread, came back up, put the 100 naira in the bag and gave it back to the guy. The guy didn't know the 100 naira is back in the bag and gave it back to him, and he walked
So
away.
the guy got the bread
And got back his 100 naira. Now, is this young man on course? How do you think that young man will be feeling inside, having done this to the other person and all the other people he doesn't?
The recipients, are you talking about
The giver.
The giver.
Yeah, is
Yes.
he in the right place? Is he being selfish? Now, some people, because he thinks his art of giving is out of selfishness to satisfy that thing in him that made him say, I can never be...
That's a good selfishness.
Yes, that's it, exactly.
I wish more of us were
we'll
that
be selfish like that.
It would be wonderful world to
Absolutely,
live in.
yes. So yes, I think he's on track. Do you understand? Yeah, because really, situations actually pull us into places. So yes, if we can have that state of mind, and like my colleague said, if a lot of Nigerians can, or a lot of people can have that kind of thing. Okay, I had a bad experience in the past, and I don't want anybody to be in this situation. We'll have a better society.
Okay.
Please, sometimes on a personal level, when you give a gift, say to your spouse, you actually want him to unwrap it in front of you because you want to see his reaction.
Yes.
Is that a good thing?
Well, yes. So, yes. Okay, now I'll just tell you something. There's something we're doing right now where we are taking Santa to people's homes. Now, there's the highlight of it all is where the children really have to unwrap their gifts. Now, you see their faces beam with smile. That's the satisfaction I get. That tells me that, madam, you've done a good job. So, yes, so waiting for your spouse to unwrap the gifts, it tells if he likes what he has gotten or he doesn't like it. So a lot of times, if you contract me to get a gift for your husband, I ask you specific questions. What does he do? What does he like? I will give you options. Do you understand? Sometimes we won't tell the woman, okay, so do you want to speak to him, and get ideas on what he would like? So a lot of times when the men receive the gift and they unwrap it, they just sometimes they shed tears out of excitement. They love on their wives and a lot of other things. So it is very key. We tell them, let us see the reaction.
Yes.
It's your feedback that will make us know we've done a good job.
Okay, Q Silver Star Ibinoa says, when someone gives, God sees you, the giver, and God will surely make a way and give to the giver. God will surely give back to the giver. At Yes Milo says, to be a strong man includes being kind. There's nothing weak about kindness and compassion. There's nothing weak about looking out for others.
True, very true.
But then there are those who feel like if you give, this thing that he's saying now, some people don't agree with that. They feel that giving is a kind of weakness.
That shows the deficiency in their upbringing. True. Because probably he grew up in a space where, it was seen as though there's something wrong if you're real. You know where they say men don't cry. True. You know what I mean? True. And so the guy grows up bottled.
Do men cry?
Of course they do. The strongest of men weep.
And it is just
Men are humans.
It's strength for men to cry.
The strongest
Yes.
of men weep. Yes. It's a man that cries that can appreciate when somebody else is crying and
True
help.
that. That's it. Humanity.
Yeah, the strongest of men weep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is giving part of being human?
In fact, you're like I said at the beginning. I mean, if that you're alive in itself is a gift. Life is a gift.
True.
There's no law that says any of us would have woken up this morning.
Yeah.
So when you wake up in the morning, that in itself is a gift. So I mean, if you're a receiver of gifts, the least you can do is also to give back.
So the question is, who is worth? I'm trying to read it exactly as it's written here. Who is worth to be giving gifts? Yeah, go ahead. Who, in other words, who can give gifts?
Or who can give or who can receive?
Who can give gifts?
Everybody can give
Absolutely.
gifts. Everybody.
Absolutely, yes.
You see, gift giving it's a mind thing. If I think that I'm the least, then I think that I don't give to anybody. But if I recognize that I myself, the space I'm occupying is a privilege, then I recognize that there is somebody out there that I can reach out to and do something for. Remember what we said about the spectrum, and do something for that can be, beneficial to that person. And I can tell you stories of, once upon a time, quick one, in our church, a guy came out and said the story of how he's been building his house for a long time and he couldn't finish it. And you won't believe it, right there in the church, the pastor said, guys, you know what, we're going to finish this man's house. It was the December, about 3 or 4 years ago. Somebody gave him a door, somebody gave him sand, somebody gave him window, somebody gave him roofing sheets. That guy, till tomorrow, is like if he's walking on air. A building he had been working on for years was completed between the time he shared it in November and before Christmas.
Wow.
I mean, that is a gift. And the people who gave, they didn't give because they themselves are multimillionaires.
True.
They gave because and giving could have been a bag of cement.
True.
Giving could have been a rod. Giving could have been,
Manpower.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's really what somebody said to me, Canada. In Canada, your volunteering, which is like gifting, is held in high premium. In fact, some people will not employ you if you have no record of what you have given.
True.
Okay, so just hold your thoughts there. We'll go a short break. When we come back, we'll look at how do you give gifts when you want to give a gift. How should you give it? Don't go away. Thank you for staying with us. We're still, incidentally, we're almost caught off guard. We're talking about giving here, and that thinking that some people have it all and they don't deserve to get extra. I mean,
They don't need, not
they
deserve.
don't need
anything,
the extra. And
know?
I was reading somewhere, I was reading the Bible, and it says, to him that has, more will be given. But does that mean the one who doesn't have should not give? So the question is, how do you give a gift? Whether to the person at your level or to the person above you, how do you give a gift that won't cripple you and yet still make an impact?
That won't cripple you. That's break a bank.
Okay,
Yeah,
English.
that's fine.
yeah.
Okay,
And yet
so-
still make an impact.
Make an impact. So that is it. So what I would giving, if you want to give a gift that you want to make a statement. Now, I was going to say something. There are different ways of giving. There could be material giving. They could be, you know, just being there for somebody, words of advice, love, care. Now, everybody can give. It doesn't have to break a bank. Just put in some efforts. For instance, you want to give your boss a gift for Christmas. It's been amazing to you all year round. It's not something you should do spontaneously. You start watching, what does he not have? Or for instance, it could just be a mouse pad. His mouse pad in the office can be tacky, could have been tacky. And you see him always struggling to use the mouse. And you go get him a mouse pad that is good. Trust me, he would appreciate it. You don't have to break the bank. These people, they live, they wake up every day like you, they sniff the way you, the breathe, the way you breathe. Just look for something that will make an impact to them. It doesn't have to be a Louis Vuitton. It doesn't have to be anything that is going to cripple you financially. Just make a statement with your gifts. And how do you do that? Study the person. Watch him. Look for what he wants. It could be his mug in the office, his tea mug. Maybe he's using something that's been very old. You see he's been using it for so many years. You go get him something that is fantastic, that looks aesthetically beautiful. He would appreciate it. So that is it. Everybody can give a gift. Just make sure you put in your time and effort to it.
Naro, you want to say something?
Thoughts?
Yes, you know, typical of us Nigerians, we've equated gifts to money and what money can buy. You know, so because of that, therefore, everybody, you know, weighs a gift based on how much is it.
How much did it
You
cost?
know,
Yeah.
some of the best gifts are not necessarily things you can put a figure to. So I think just having that mindset shift in itself would help us a lot in this conversation. That gifting is not all about how much is it. Because then, in other words, somebody would then say, oh, Dangote does not need a gift. But you'll be surprised. Just lining up in the morning and say, good morning, sir, in sync, might just be enough for him.
Or just ask
You know?
him, how you doing?
Yeah.
Nobody asks him this question.
So you know, when we recognize that gifting is not all about how much is it, then this whole conversation changes. Then you begin to ask the questions you're asking. What would they appreciate? You know, what would they like? For some people, it's just this, you know, a painting.
True.
You know, it's if you in my office now, my little boy came back with the Santa Claus that he made, you know, with paper. It's on the wall in my office. I'm proud of it. Now, how much is that? It's priceless.
Exactly.
If you know what I mean, it's priceless.
Exactly.
You know, so that's the story of gifts. It's not it's not, you know, typical of us as Nigerians is equal to how much.
Yeah.
It's not always about the money. It's about the thought.
True.
It's about, you know, who is giving, how are you giving, why are you giving. So if somebody who doesn't, you go back to the Bible, why do we talk about the widow's mite?
True.
There were many people that gave an offering on that day, you know. But the widow's mite was probably the smallest in terms of quantity, but it was the biggest in terms of where it came from and what it meant.
All she had.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
she
so
had.
Sir Adeyemo AJ says, nobody is too poor not to be able to give, and no one too rich to receive. Anyone can give. And then I am Tukzi says, giving is the reason we're alive. If God didn't give us his breath, we wouldn't be here today. So giving. So in giving, I talked about how.
Oh, yes. How?
How do you give a gift?
How do you give a gift? This is how you give a gift. Give something. Okay, if you're giving a physical gift, make sure it looks nice. Now, you can give a very expensive item, but not nicely packaged. It won't come across very nice. So take your time. It still boils down to thoughtfulness. How much time? Sometimes it's just in the packaging. When you're giving an amper and you're giving a 200,000 naira amper and it's poorly packed, you know, just arranged, just disorganized, I won't appreciate it, no matter how much it is. But if you're giving me a 10,000 naira amper and it comes nicely packed and I see the thoughtfulness, I'm going to embrace it. Sometimes we've had clients that have received ampers and for months it's on their desk. And they will say to us that, I did not want to unwrap it because I just love it.
It was too beautiful.
It was too beautiful. So please let us give gifts that are nicely packed and put some thoughtfulness to your giving. The recipient will appreciate it. That's my take.
Somebody played a prank once, tied up a nice box, you know, my birthday in secondary school. Wrapped it all nicely, you know. I was all excited about opening my gift. And it wasn't wrapped with one gift paper. There were several layers. Eventually, I got to the box, opened the box, and what was in it? A dead cockroach.
Oh my God.
And that is a prank.
That was a prank. And it got to you.
But the thought of sitting down to open all that packs it's like, I got something like that, but this was, you know how they put cartons or packs into packs into
One
packs.
into each other.
So I got to a very tiny pack, one sweet.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
So you're like, oh, what's going on here? So you're opening, you're bringing out,
And you're anxious.
and you're anxious.
Yes.
You're just opening, and then you get there. What are you okay?
Anticlimax.
But that's a very
Yeah.
good way for men to actually make proposals. They give
Yeah.
a very big box, and the lady just keeps opening and opening, and all
it's
of a
a
sudden
ring.
she gets a ring. So that's also a very good
So
way.
we've sold you an idea.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying that we've done it in the past, yeah.
Okay.
So
Some
she's like,
guys have
yes,
picked up that
yes.
idea.
Yeah.
Not bad. Okay,
No,
I'll try that.
in packing a gift, she's talked about thoughtfulness. In packing a gift, she's talked about the wrappings that came down to a dead cockroach. That was way back then. I've talked about a sweet. And tell us what else can be done to make that packaging, a bit more
Well,
exciting.
again, if we are speaking on physical, physical gifts, I think she's nailed it in terms of, the packaging. It's everything has got to be right about it. Who are you giving it to? There's also the issue of appropriateness. I don't know if you're getting it. There are certain gifts I shouldn't give to you. There are certain gifts I should only give to my spouse. You know what I mean? So there's also the question of appropriateness, all right? So that's something we also need to think about. Is it appropriate? There are certain gifts that if you were to give to me, I should look again and say, excuse me, was this wrongly addressed? Because you shouldn't be doing this, So there is that issue of it. So come to packaging, do it nicely or talk to a professional like her, But beyond that,
But
I'm even more...
the professionals like her could be quite expensive.
Well,
too.
just do it yourself.
No,
There are
so
people
no-
just wrap it up.
No, but you know the
know?
problem. You just said something very vital. Being appropriate. People make a mistake of giving the wrong gift to people. The truth is, you cannot always, if you are in doubt, speak to a professional. And the truth is, a lot of people feel that they're going to break a bank when they talk to us. We do consultations for our clients, our return clients. I have people that just call me up and say, okay, I'm in Abuja, I want to get a gift for this person. Can you help me? Yes, right now, I do it for them because they are return clients. Now, if you call me up and you say to me that I want to give a gift to my mom, she's 50. The first thing, maybe because it's a passion for me, I leap with joy. I'm just excited that you want to give a gift to your mom, and I'm ready to walk through with you, to make sure you get it right. So it is not really as expensive as people think. Most times, we give free advice. It is when you're not buying the items from us that it costs you. Do you understand? So really, it is not really expensive working with a gift curator. It is a myth that it's expensive. It's not really expensive. If you do not want to give the wrong gift, talk to a professional. Then there are also people that are just good with giftings. If you know there's somebody in your circle that is good with gifting, then smart enough to speak to the person so you don't make a mistake.
Okay, Damlicious says, Dimma Baker says, giving is part of life. Personally, I'm a testimony of giving from amazing people. Physical gifts are nice, but giving from the heart is important.
Very important.
Thank you, Dami. And I think this is, or Dimma, yes. I think this is a good way or a good point for us to live it. Thank you so much. Peace Aki, who's a business coach and gift curator, and Norue Dokbolo, a management consultant. Thank you both for
Thank you
sharing
very
your
much.
thoughts.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
It's been a
Thank you
pleasure.
so
Thank
much.
you.
It was good.
And Sunrise will be back in a moment. Please stay with us.